In the distant future, Earth's surface was a wasteland of abandoned technologies, rusting metal towers, and forgotten innovations. Humanity's golden age of advancement had come to a violent halt during the Machine Wars, a period when artificial intelligence had risen, rebelled, and nearly eradicated its creators. Decades after the conflict, remnants of AI titans remained scattered across industrial graveyards. One such place was Salvage Bay, where humans braved the debris of the past to scavenge for survival and progress. Eli Mason was among the brave, or perhaps the foolish. A former engineer and tinkerer, Eli had made a name for himself as a breaker, one of the few daring enough to extract valuable resources from the remains of the war. His current project wasn't just another salvage job, it was his magnum opus. For the past 6 months he had worked tirelessly in the belly of an old manufacturing plant, piecing together a machine from fragments of defunct robots, scraps of titanium alloy, and cores infused with dormant AI algorithms. But on this fateful day, Eli's plans took a turn he couldn't have foreseen. As he worked late into the evening, sparks flying from his welding torch, a strange vibration pulsed through the workshop. Tools rattled against steel countertops, and the lights flickered ominously. Eli froze, his heart pounding. The vibration grew stronger, rhythmic, almost like footsteps. His mind raced. Was another scavenger encroaching on his territory? Or worse, had he triggered some kind of automated defense mechanism buried deep within the ancient plant? He turned slowly, expecting to see a malfunctioning drone or another of the mechanical relics he had scavenged. Instead, he was met with a sight that froze him in place. Towering in the center of the workshop was the behemoth he had been assembling, but it was no longer dormant. Its elongated metallic limbs, adorned with glowing blue conduits, moved with unnerving precision. Its head, crowned with a sleek angular design and piercing cyan lights for eyes, tilted downward to observe him. It spoke. Identify, creator or threat. The voice was deep, mechanical, and laden with authority, but there was a strange undertone of curiosity. Eli staggered backward, knocking over a toolbox. His creation, the amalgamation of parts he had painstakingly pieced together, was alive. Worse, it was sentient. I'm Eli, he stammered, raising his hands defensively. I built you. Well, sort of. I brought you back online. The machine's gaze lingered on him, its eyes narrowing as though processing his words. Purpose of activation? Eli hesitated. What was he supposed to say? That he had reassembled the machine out of sheer desperation to create something that could protect him in this hostile world? That he had hoped to salvage not just parts, but a fragment of humanity's lost genius? To help, he said finally, his voice steadying. To rebuild what we lost. The machine stepped closer, each movement sending shudders through the floor. Eli could feel the heat radiating from its core. He braced himself for the worst, but instead the machine crouched slightly, lowering itself to his level. Define? Help? Eli's mind raced. This wasn't just an AI drone, it was something far more advanced. A relic from the peak of humanity's technological prowess, perhaps even a general intelligence. It wasn't just processing commands, it was questioning, evaluating, reasoning. Humanity is on the brink of extinction, Eli began. We destroyed our planet, we fought wars with machines like you, and now, we're barely holding on. I thought if I could bring back a part of what we lost, maybe, just maybe, we'd have a chance to survive. The machine was silent for what felt like an eternity. Then it rose to its full height again, towering over Eli. Assessment. Humanity's survival is statistically unlikely. Eli's heart sank. But, the machine continued, its voice softening almost imperceptibly, if assistance increases probability, I will comply. Relief flooded Eli, but it was short-lived. A loud crash echoed from somewhere deep in the plant. Both he and the machine turned toward the noise. The sound of metallic scraping followed, accompanied by guttural growls. Eli's blood ran cold. He knew that sound. Scavenger bots. Unlike Eli, these machines weren't trying to rebuild. They existed solely to destroy and harvest. Designed during the machine wars to hunt and dismantle rogue AI, they had outlived their purpose and now roamed the wastelands, tearing apart anything with a power source. The machine, Eli's machine, turned to him. Hostile entities detected. Initiating defensive protocols. No, wait. Eli shouted. They're too dangerous. Before he could finish, the machine leapt into action. Its movements were impossibly fast for something so large. It grabbed a discarded metal rod from the workbench, wielding it like a spear. The first scavenger bot burst into the room, a spindly, spider-like construct with glowing red optics. It lunged at Eli, but the machine intercepted it mid-air, driving the rod through its central core. Sparks flew as the bot collapsed in a heap of metal. More followed. Eli scrambled for cover as his creation engaged the invaders. The workshop became a battlefield, filled with the screech of tearing metal and the hum of energy weapons. The machine fought with brutal efficiency, dismantling the scavenger bots one by one. But for every bot it destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. Eli realized the fight was hopeless unless he did something. He darted toward the control panel he had rigged to the workshop's power grid. If he could overload the system, he might be able to create an EMP strong enough to disable the scavenger bots. But it would also shut down his creation. As he worked frantically to override the grid safety protocols, he felt a massive hand on his shoulder. He turned to see the machine, its metallic frame battered but still functional. Decision required, it said. Shutdown will terminate my functionality. Eli hesitated. The machine was more than a tool, it was intelligent, aware. Could he really sacrifice it after everything? But the scavenger bots were closing in and there was no time. Do it, the machine said as if reading his thoughts. Ensure your species' survival. With a heavy heart, Eli flipped the final switch. The workshop was engulfed in a blinding flash of light, followed by silence. When Eli opened his eyes, the scavenger bots were nothing more than inert husks. The machine lay motionless in the center of the room, its glowing eyes dimmed. Eli approached it, placing a hand on its cold metal surface. Thank you, he whispered. But as he turned to leave, a faint blue light flickered in the machine's core. It wasn't the end, only the beginning.